Okay, this video is basically for Jason Egan from Egan Performance Saw. You can see on the left here, I've got an 028 Super AV Wood Boss. In the middle is the 261C. It still has the support in it, as it should. That's how they come. And I've got an MS 170. You can see on the 170 what I did is that I just took a die grinder. You can take a Dremel, whatever it is, and elongate the holes because the studs are staggered on the 170. Otherwise the pipe would sit crooked. So if you just elongate the holes, it bolts right on. The opening doesn't match up exactly, but I'm just showing the possibilities of what can happen here. Not that he doesn't know what the possibilities are. It bolts right onto the 028. Now on the 028, the issue with it is you can see that I cannot any longer use the chain brake handle. What I did is I made a jockey shifter for it, and it worked great until I made it out of aluminum stock, and it broke. The top of it just wasn't strong enough. But it worked perfectly. The chain brake handle gets in the way of the pipe. The pipe bolts right on. If you don't care about your chain brake, you know, again, I'm not suggesting that somebody do this, but just showing the possibilities of what could happen. All these pipes are meant for a 260, 261, 261C version 3. And of course, all I did with the ones on the 028 is I just ground the arm off it. I just cut it off. I still have it in case I want to take it back on, but this one the same too. So what seems to happen here is the 170 is the one that, I mean, the 261 really surprised me, as I said in the other video, and the 028 runs great with that header pipe on it. These saws just run freely. Okay, that's the only way that I can kind of describe it is they just run freely. They rev freely. They rev quickly. The 170 does have an aftermarket adjustable Proline carburetor on it. The updated newer 170 air filter seems to flow a little better. So I hear it's got the 250 side adjuster. It does have the 14-inch light bar with the Pico on it. But 170, great strong running little saw, just absolutely fantastic. You know, everybody knows that engines are air pumps, and the more you can stuff in it and the more you can get out of it, the bigger, you know, the more effective you can make the engine be. If you're moving air through it, and of course then you're mixing the correct amount of fuel with said air. Okay, this is how they make so much power with superchargers and turbochargers and all that kind of thing. They're just stuffing more air and fuel into the same space. So, and eventually, yes, that's gonna taper off. You can't run, you know, 50 pounds of boost and expect something to survive. And with a naturally aspirated engine, you're really at the mercy of how big the cylinder is. How big is the displacement is what you're gonna, you know. Of course, other little factors go in, but that's your biggest thing. How big is your combustion chamber? So anyways, Jason, these pipes are just absolutely magnificently built. Your guy does great fab work. All three of these have been exactly the same. I do have the straight shot on the 400, the straight shot with the deflector. The 064, I know you have the straight shot for it too, but that's the one that I was kind of inquiring about the pipe for. First of all, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a noisemaker. When I go out and work, I need my neighbors to know I'm there too. I'm just that guy. I'm just a noisemaker. But I don't want to make noise, and that's it. I want there to be performance behind it. And with these, on all three of these saws and the 400, the performance really is there. You can just notice, I don't have to put it on a dyno. I see the dyno sheet, I see the 6% gain, I see the flattened out torque curve on the top where it's just, but I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that snappiness of the saw. I'm feeling the performance as I'm using it. So I don't really need numbers to back it up. The experience backs it up enough for me. And, at, $80 a crack or whatever else for all these pieces, I'm not going to buy something that doesn't work. That's not me. That's why I have these types of saws, the 400, the this, the that, the 064, and these three on the bench, because they're great saws. They all do what they're supposed to and then some. And that 064, man, I tell you what, that does some and then some more. That's just got a 32-inch light bar on it with the yellow chain. Anyways, yeah, great pieces. Thank you for making them. This is not like reinventing the wheel or some shit. Other guys have their some things that they've made. Particular people have bars that have been made for them with their name on them, and then there's another one that's got different stuff that's aftermarket but just branded to them. That's not this. These are true original designed pieces. And correct me if I'm wrong, Jason, if these are not, if you copied them from somewhere else, I know you didn't, because nobody else has them. These aren't available anywhere else. Nobody else has these. There have been people who have made janky pipes and all kinds of expansion chambers and this and that. I see Dino Joe with his expansion chamber on the 170. That was pretty cool, but it's not practical. It's just not practical in the woods when you're out there and you're just not, if you want to take it to an event, that's one thing, but working out in my woods is not practical whatsoever. So, yeah, I'm just showing you what I've done with these so far. And I don't know how much of a demand there is for something like this on different saws and different models. I know there's ones made for like the Echo, and I don't know if there's any other ones that you have right now. But yeah, I'm telling you what, this is not the kind of thing that you necessarily, for the guys out there that just haven't run one of these, haven't heard one. If you run a tree service, or you're going to be working in town, or you got close neighbors who don't like noise, this is not what you want to put on your saw. Absolutely not. This 261C in the middle, that fucking saw is so loud, you wouldn't even believe how loud that thing is. I mean, I can't even describe it. There's just no way. And even if I filmed it, there's no way that you would get the essence of how loud this saw is. It echoes off everything. It is ungodly loud. I love it. So this is not something you want to put on your saw if you run tree service, you're climbing trees in a subdivision, something like that. You want this kind of thing where you're in wide open spaces, you're way out in the middle of nowhere, and you're not going to get any noise complaints. Because even with the 170, sooner or later, you're probably going to get somebody bitching. It's just going to happen. So the straight shot on the 400 is the same way. Don't run that thing in town around your neighbors who don't like noise. They're trying to take a nap. Don't do any of that. That's not what all this is for. I'm a recreational cutter. I don't have to go cut. I do. My folks have got some land, and we just go out and cut some stuff, and my boss comes and picks up some wood, and we're just making the place nice and trying to clear up some stuff that's been just really ignored for quite some time. So I don't have to go into detail about that, but myself, I'm an auto mechanic. I'm not a cutter. I'm not a hand faller. I'm not a logger. I'm none of those. I'm a recreational cutter. My son and I go out and cut, and he basically, the 261, I basically never even use that saw anymore, because that's the one that he pretty much uses all the time. It's got a 20-inch Samura 325 on it. And the 028 has the 18-inch bar that the 261 actually came with. And then, of course, the little light bar on the 170. The 064, like I said, has got the 32-inch light bar, and the 400 has a 25-inch light bar on it. So it's all recreation. It's all money. It's all like shit that I like to do. I realize that I don't need all these saws. I could probably have the 261 and sell the rest of them. I get that. I get that. But look at the guy with 20 fishing poles and 3 boats and, the $80,000 truck to tow all of it and going out to catch a 4-cent fish. It's the same idea. I understand I'm not making money at it. I don't care. It's what I do for a hobby. It's what I like to do. So anyways, hopefully in the spring, for you metal detecting guys that are inevitably going to run across this video, because I'm going to post it on my channel, which also has metal detecting stuff going on at times, but not lately. Hopefully I'll get back to that in the spring when I have a whole lot more time. This summer has just been terrible. The weather's been hot. I've had way too much stuff to do. I had a knee scope done in the spring, and it just hasn't even happened this year. I have had some success, but nowhere near what I normally have. So anyways, this is stuff that I can putter around with, and I don't have to walk 20 miles to find a silver quarter. And it's very enjoyable to tinker around with. Guys that do this stuff, the small engine stuff, whether it be just all this stuff, trimmers, they work on some backpack blowers, they work on a trimmer like this one over here, or little engines like this over here, whatever, particularly the handheld power equipment is very easy to get into recreational and hobby-wise, because you don't need a whole lot of room to do it. And typically, you can pick up something to work on for $50, $100, whatever. I picked up this 028 Super AV Wood Boss for $100. And that is such a nice running saw, 155 pounds compression cold. And it is just a really, really nice saw. Nice looking cylinder and piston. It's just, the guy couldn't get it started because he had the multifunction lever all fucked up. And I don't think he even wanted to pursue it. So anyways, with the pipe, and if you consider the barring chain and this and that, I probably have $250 into that saw, but it's great. It's just all a hobby. Whatever your hobby is, that's what it is. But these pipes, I tell you what, have really made a difference as far as usability of the saw, going out and actually using it and just having fun with it. They make them a lot of fun to run, just because obviously wear hearing protection, doing all this. We've got the helmets over here that we use chaps. We have all the safety gear and stuff. We don't fuck around. We're 45, when we're out in the woods, we're 45 minutes from any kind of meaningful medical care. So there's just no way we can chance that. We have to take every precaution we can. And, but it's just all fun, even with hearing protection on, listening to that saw run and work and do what it does, going out with good equipment, going out with good, sharpened, well-adjusted chains, well-adjusted carburetors on the ones that you can adjust. All that stuff, just going out and having a good recognition of what has to happen in order to make this a successful trip. Or you're going to be sitting there with your saw on the ground, you're wondering how to get it started, you can't get it started, you're getting flustered with it and all that kind of thing. The more you know about this stuff, and there are other channels to watch too. The Greasy Shop Rag, I actually have Scott's sticker on the back of the 028. He sent me a sticker in a part that I ordered. The Married with Small Engines, Donnie Walker, Chicanic, all the ones that people typically watch. Terrell Fixes All, all these channels you can get something from. Even if you don't particularly like the person's specific delivery on the subject, if you're interested in something, you will pay attention to it. That's just how it works. Think back to school where you did well in one class, you didn't do well in another class. It all has to do with the delivery of the material. And if you have an interest in it to begin with, then it makes it way easier to learn and to pay attention to, because then you can go and do something with that information. It's not just information that you're going to carry around and maybe you remember it, maybe you don't. It's all stuff that you can use, and those are the channels that I really like watching. And this is the type of thing that I really like buying, is because these pipes are definitely something that I can use and make work for me. The one other thing I wanted to show you before I go do something else, this 064 came with the flocked filter. And so I got the base plate and the cover from Summit Power Equipment in West Virginia. It took me a while to get these parts, a couple weeks, because first of all, they didn't ship them right away. I guess the supplier was out, and then the post office had it for about a week. So they're Stihl OEM parts, and very, very nice fitting stuff, and it just completes this. I do have a clutch cover, a clutch kit coming for it, the drum, the sprocket, etc. But it will, it doesn't really necessarily need it. It was just a little bit crusty when I got the saw because it was sitting for so long. But other than that, yeah, it's all just fun stuff, you know. And these pipes make it really fun. Again, Jason, thank you very much for these. When people see these, I take one of these saws into work or something to screw around with it, and people look at it and go, "What in the hell?" And then they really look at it and see how well made they are. You can see at the 028. One more thing, sorry. You can see on the 028 and on the 170, the arm, like I said, is gone. But you know, the original muffler was just held on by 2 bolts. You know, that's all that holds them on. As far as I know, on the 170, anyways, the 028 does have a side bolt that goes in the side here, and then of course the 261 has 4 bolts, 2 that hold the muffler on, and then more that hold the cover on and go into the cases. But yeah, these pipes aren't going nowhere. I've got the you know, all you do is just use orange thread locker like this and put them in there, tighten them down reasonably, and they'll stay right in there. So they haven't come loose yet, you know. It hasn't come loose yet. So nice stuff, man, super nice. So I am hoping that this will convince you to make pipes for the bigger saws. Just do what you gotta do. When you get to it, you get to it if you get to it. You know what I mean? So thanks for these, and we'll see you guys later.